Tonight, as you settle into peaceful rest, look up through the darkness toward the moon. Whether visible or hidden behind clouds, it is there, your constant cosmic companion, silently orchestrating one of the most beautiful and fundamental rhythms of life on Earth. For over 4 billion years, this celestial partner has been dancing with our planet in a gravitational embrace, so gentle, yet so profound that it has shaped the very evolution of life itself. As you breathe quietly in the stillness, feel yourself participating in this ancient cosmic rhythm. The moon above you, just 238,900 miles away, close enough in cosmic terms to be considered Earth's twin, is right now pulling gently on every drop of water in your body, just as it pulls on the vast oceans that cover most of our planet's surface. This is not a violent or chaotic force, but something as natural and rhythmic as your own heartbeat. The moon's gravitational influence creates the tides that have been breathing with Earth's coastlines since long before the first organisms learned to harness sunlight, before the first creatures developed eyes to see the moon's reflected light dancing on water. Your body, composed of roughly 60% water, participates in this cosmic dance in ways both subtle and profound. The lunar gravity that moves oceans also moves through you, creating microscopic tides in your cells, your blood, the fluid that surrounds your brain. You are not separate from the tidal forces that shape our planet. You are part of them, a conscious participant in the moon's gentle influence on all Earth's waters. The moon you may glimpse through your window tonight has been Earth's faithful companion since our planet was young and molten, when days were only a few hours long and the moon loomed much larger in the sky. Over billions of years, this cosmic partnership has gradually slowed Earth's rotation, giving us our familiar 24-hour days, while the moon has slowly drifted farther away, settling into the perfect distance that creates the stable tidal rhythms we know today. This gravitational partnership between Earth and Moon is so finely tuned that it has created the stable conditions necessary for complex life to evolve. Without the moon's stabilizing influence, Earth would wobble chaotically on its axis, creating wild climate variations that would make the evolution of complex organisms nearly impossible. The moon is not just a beautiful light in the night sky. It is one of the fundamental reasons you exist at all. Tonight, as you prepare to drift into sleep, you'll discover how this celestial dance between Earth and Moon creates the breathing rhythm of our oceans, the twice-daily pulse of high and low tides that has regulated coastal life for billions of years. You'll explore how lunar gravity reaches across the vacuum of space to move vast quantities of water with elegant precision, creating tidal forces that influence everything from marine ecosystems to the length of our days. The moon's influence extends far beyond the oceans to affect the solid Earth itself, creating land tides that lift and lower the ground beneath your feet by several inches each day. Even the atmosphere experiences lunar tides, with air pressure fluctuating subtly in response to our satellite's gravitational pull. As we journey through the peaceful science of lunar influence tonight, you'll come to understand that you live not just on Earth, but within the Earth-Moon system, a binary planet dancing through space, where the rhythm of tides connects you to cosmic forces that have been shaping our world since the solar system was young. Rest now in appreciation of this cosmic partnership, this gentle gravitational conversation between Earth and Moon that creates the tidal heartbeat of our planet, the rhythm that has cradled life for billions of years and continues to influence the very cells in your body as you sleep peacefully beneath the moon's watchful presence. The physics of attraction, how gravity creates the tidal dance, Imagine now the invisible threads of gravitational force stretching across the 238,900 miles between Earth and Moon, creating the elegant physics that moves oceans and influences every drop of water on our planet, including the water within your own resting body. Gravity, the fundamental force that keeps your feet on the ground and Earth in orbit around the Sun, operates according to a beautifully simple principle. Every piece of matter in the universe attracts every other piece of matter with a force that depends on their masses and the distance between them. The Moon, with roughly 1/6 of Earth's gravity, may seem weak compared to the planet beneath you, but across the relatively short cosmic distance that separates us, its gravitational pull is strong enough to lift entire oceans. Here's where the physics becomes wonderfully elegant. Tides are not created simply by the Moon pulling on Earth's water. If that were the case, there would be only one high tide per day, occurring when the Moon is directly overhead. Instead, the magic of tides emerges from what scientists call differential gravitational force. The fact that the Moon pulls slightly more strongly on water that is closer to it than on water that is farther away. Picture Earth as it spins beneath the Moon's gravitational influence. The side of Earth facing the Moon experiences the strongest pull, causing ocean water to bulge toward our satellite. But here's the beautiful physics. On the opposite side of Earth, the water experiences weaker gravitational pull from the Moon, allowing it to fall away from Earth's center, creating a second bulge. This is why most coastal locations experience 2 high tides and 2 low tides each day. As you rest here tonight, Earth is rotating beneath these 2 tidal bulges, carrying different parts of the planet through regions of high and low tide, in a rhythm that has remained remarkably consistent for billions of years. The coastlines you may have visited are experiencing this eternal dance right now. Waves rolling in during high tide, retreating during low tide, following the gravitational choreography directed by the Moon. The strength of this gravitational dance varies in predictable cycles that create what coastal dwellers know as spring tides and neap tides. When the Sun, Earth, and Moon align during new and full moons, their gravitational forces combine to create spring tides, the highest highs and lowest lows. When the Sun and Moon form right angles relative to Earth during quarter moons, their gravitational influences partially cancel out, creating gentler neap tides. Your body participates in this gravitational dance on a microscopic scale. The water in your cells, your blood, the cerebrospinal fluid that cushions your brain, all of it responds to lunar gravity with movements too small to feel, but real enough to measure with sensitive instruments. Some researchers suggest that these biological microtides might influence everything from sleep patterns to healing rates, connecting your body's rhythms to the cosmic dance above. The Moon's gravitational influence reaches beyond water to affect the solid Earth itself. Land tides lift and lower the ground beneath you by several inches twice each day, flexing the planet's crust in response to lunar gravity. The rock beneath your home is more flexible than you might imagine, flowing slowly in response to gravitational forces like an extremely viscous liquid over geological timescales. Even Earth's atmosphere experiences tidal effects, with air pressure rising and falling in subtle rhythm with the Moon's position. Weather patterns, while primarily driven by solar heating, may be influenced by these atmospheric tides in ways that scientists are still discovering. The physics of tides demonstrates one of the most beautiful aspects of gravity. It is simultaneously the weakest and most far-reaching of nature's fundamental forces. While electromagnetic forces hold atoms together and nuclear forces power the sun, gravity operates across infinite distances, creating connections between celestial bodies separated by hundreds of thousands of miles. This gravitational connection between Earth and Moon is gradually changing over cosmic time. The tidal forces that move our oceans create friction that slowly transfers energy from Earth's rotation to the Moon's orbit, causing our planet to rotate more slowly while the Moon spirals gradually away from us. In the far future, Earth and Moon will become tidally locked, with the same sides always facing each other, though this process will take billions of years to complete. Rest now in appreciation of the elegant physics that creates our tidal world, this gravitational dance that connects the Moon above to every drop of water on Earth, including the water within you, creating the rhythmic breathing of oceans that has provided the stable conditions necessary for life to evolve and flourish on our uniquely tidal planet.
The ocean's breath, tides as Earth's respiratory rhythm. Feel yourself now connected to the vast respiratory system of our planet, where twice each day the oceans inhale and exhale in the ancient breathing rhythm created by the Moon's gravitational embrace, a cosmic respiration that has been shaping coastlines and marine life for billions of years. As you breathe quietly in the darkness, imagine the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic oceans all breathing in unison with this tidal rhythm. Right now, somewhere on Earth, high tide is bringing the ocean's breath onto sandy beaches, filling tidal pools with fresh seawater, covering rocks that were exposed just hours before. Elsewhere, low tide is drawing the ocean's breath back, revealing hidden worlds of intertidal life, exposing vast mud flats where shorebirds will soon arrive to feed. This oceanic breathing creates some of the most dynamic and life-rich environments on Earth. In the intertidal zones, those magical places where land and sea meet, organisms have evolved to live in two worlds simultaneously. Underwater during high tide, exposed to air during low tide. These creatures experience the full rhythm of the Earth-Moon system in their daily lives, their biological clocks synchronized to the 12.5-hour tidal cycle. The rhythm of tides varies dramatically around the globe, creating a diverse tapestry of tidal experiences. In the Bay of Fundy between Maine and Nova Scotia, the ocean's breath is so deep that tides rise and fall by up to 50 feet, creating one of the most dramatic tidal ranges on Earth. Twice each day, billions of gallons of water flow in and out of this bay, creating tidal bores that can be heard from miles away. In contrast, the Mediterranean Sea, largely enclosed and connected to the Atlantic by the narrow Strait of Gibraltar, experiences tides of only a few inches, gentle ripples compared to the dramatic breathing of more open coasts. The Baltic Sea, even more enclosed, barely breathes at all in tidal terms, showing how geography shapes the Moon's influence on different bodies of water. Some of Earth's most spectacular tidal phenomena occur where the ocean's breath is constricted by geography. The Severn Bore in England creates a wall of water that surfers can ride for miles as the high tide rushes up the narrowing river. Similar tidal bores occur on rivers around the world, where the incoming tide meets the outgoing river flow, creating temporary rapids in places that are calm most of the time. The ocean's tidal breathing also creates powerful currents that circulate nutrients and oxygen throughout coastal waters, These tidal currents can be stronger than major rivers, moving vast quantities of water and marine life between deep ocean and shallow coastal areas. Many marine organisms time their reproduction to these tidal flows, releasing eggs and sperm into currents that will carry their offspring to new habitats. In the deepest parts of the ocean, far from any coastline, the moon's influence still creates subtle tidal currents that help drive the global circulation of seawater. These deep-sea tides contribute to the thermohaline circulation, the global conveyor belt of ocean currents that helps regulate Earth's climate by moving heat from equatorial regions toward the poles.
The breathing rhythm of tides has been a constant feature of Earth throughout most of the history of life. Ancient stromatolites, fossilized mats of bacteria from billions of years ago, show growth patterns that reflect the tidal cycles of their time, when the moon was closer and days were shorter. These geological records reveal that life has always been influenced by the moon's gravitational embrace. Modern marine ecosystems remain intimately connected to tidal rhythms. Coral reefs time their spawning to specific moon phases and tidal cycles, releasing billions of eggs and sperm into waters that will carry them to new reef sites. Many fish species migrate with the tides, following currents that bring food or provide access to spawning grounds. Even organisms that live far from the ocean may retain biological rhythms tied to ancient tidal cycles. Some researchers suggest that the roughly monthly cycles found in many biological processes, from human menstrual cycles to the molting patterns of various animals, may reflect evolutionary memories of lunar and tidal influence that shaped life when all organisms lived in the sea. The ocean's tidal breath also influences weather patterns, particularly in coastal areas. The daily heating and cooling of tidal flats, the evaporation of water from exposed areas during low tide, and the temperature differences between incoming and receding tidal waters all contribute to local climate patterns and can influence the formation of coastal fog, sea breezes, and precipitation. As you prepare for sleep, imagine yourself connected to this vast oceanic respiratory system, your own breathing synchronized with the eternal rhythm of tides, your body's water content participating in the same gravitational dance that moves oceans, your rest occurring within the gentle, persistent breathing of Earth itself as it responds to the moon's faithful gravitational guidance. Rest peacefully, knowing that this tidal breathing has created and maintained the dynamic coastal environments that may have been crucial for life's transition from sea to land. The rhythmic boundaries between elements that provided the evolutionary pressure and opportunity for the complex life forms that eventually led to your existence. Life in the tidal zone, how lunar rhythms shape biology. Discover now the remarkable ways that life has learned to dance with the moon, how countless organisms have synchronized their deepest biological rhythms to the gentle gravitational pulse of our cosmic partner, creating a living symphony that connects earthly biology to celestial mechanics across billions of years of evolution. In the intertidal zones where you might have walked during seaside visits, entire ecosystems pulse with lunar rhythm. Barnacles, those small volcano-shaped creatures attached to rocks, open and close their shells in sync with tidal cycles, feeding when submerged, sealing themselves against drying when exposed to air. Their biological clocks run not on solar time but on lunar time, following the 24-hour and 50-minute rhythm that matches the moon's passage overhead. Sea anemones, those flower-like animals that bloom in tidal pools, expand their tentacles to capture food when the tide brings fresh nutrients.
then contract into protective mounds when low tide exposes them to air and sun. Their bodies contain internal clocks so precisely tuned to tidal cycles that they continue this rhythm even when moved to laboratory tanks with no tidal influence, as if the moon's gravitational song has been written into their very cells. The grunion fish of Southern California have evolved one of the most spectacular demonstrations of lunar timing in the natural world. These small silver fish ride the highest spring tides onto sandy beaches to spawn, their eggs developing in the warm sand until the next cycle of spring tides arrives 2 weeks later to carry the hatching young back to sea. Their entire life cycle is choreographed by the gravitational dance between Earth, Moon, and Sun. Fiddler crabs, those small creatures with their characteristic oversized claws, change color in rhythm with tidal cycles, even when kept in constant laboratory conditions, far from any ocean. Their internal chronometers maintain lunar timing so precisely that researchers can predict the phase of the tide simply by observing the crab's coloration. The moon's influence reaches into their cells, regulating the expansion and contraction of pigment granules in patterns that mirror the cosmic dance above. Many marine worms demonstrate equally remarkable lunar timing. The pololo worm of the South Pacific releases its reproductive segments on specific days tied to moon phases, creating spectacular swarms that local islanders have harvested as a seasonal delicacy for thousands of years. The worm's biological clocks track not just lunar cycles, but the seasonal variations in those cycles, showing biological timing of extraordinary complexity and precision. Even organisms that live in the eternal darkness of deep ocean trenches, far from the sun's light and the direct influence of tides, show biological rhythms tied to lunar cycles. Deep-sea creatures may rise toward the surface in patterns that correlate with moon phases, suggesting that lunar influence penetrates into the deepest parts of our biosphere through mechanisms scientists are still discovering. The influence of lunar rhythms extends beyond marine life to affect terrestrial organisms in surprising ways. Many trees show subtle variations in growth rates that correlate with lunar cycles. Some farmers and gardeners have long claimed that planting and harvesting according to moon phases improves crop yields. And while the mechanisms remain debated, some research suggests that lunar influence on soil moisture and plant hormone production may create real agricultural effects. Nocturnal animals often show activity patterns tied to lunar cycles, with many species becoming more or less active during different moon phases. Moths and other night-flying insects navigate by moonlight, their activity levels waxing and waning with lunar brightness. Predators that hunt these insects adjust their behavior accordingly, creating cascading effects throughout ecosystems. Human biology retains traces of ancient lunar timing. The roughly 28-day human menstrual cycle approximates the lunar month, suggesting evolutionary connections to tidal and lunar rhythms from our species' marine ancestry. Some research indicates that human birth rates show subtle variations with moon phases, though the mechanisms behind such effects remain mysterious. Sleep patterns may also be influenced by lunar cycles in ways that modern artificial lighting tends to mask. Studies of people living without electric lighting sometimes show subtle changes in sleep duration and quality that correlate with lunar phases, as if our bodies retain ancient chronometers tuned to the moon's position and brightness. Even our emotional and psychological states may be subtly influenced by lunar rhythms, through mechanisms that science is only beginning to explore. The word lunacy reflects ancient observations of connections between moon phases and human behavior. And while dramatic effects have been largely disproven, subtle influences on mood, alertness, and cognitive function continue to be investigated. The biological evidence suggests that life on Earth has been shaped not just by solar energy and terrestrial chemistry, but by the gravitational rhythms of the Earth-Moon system. The Moon has been a partner in evolution itself, providing the stable tidal cycles that created the dynamic environments where life could explore the boundaries between sea and land, where the first organisms learned to survive in multiple environments. As you drift towards sleep, feel yourself part of this ancient biological symphony, your body carrying within its cells the memory of billions of years of lunar influence, your circadian rhythms nested within the larger cycles of Earth's cosmic dance with the Moon, your rest occurring within the gentle gravitational embrace that has shaped life itself throughout the history of our planet. The Moon's shaping hand, how tides carved our world. Rest now in contemplation of the Moon as Earth's patient sculptor, working with gravitational tools across billions of years to carve coastlines, polish stones, create harbors, and shape the very geography of our planet through the ceaseless, gentle rhythm of tidal forces. The coastlines you may have visited, rocky cliffs carved into dramatic arches, smooth pebbled beaches, vast mudflats teeming with life, all bear the signature of the Moon's artistic touch. Twice each day for billions of years, tidal waters have risen and fallen against these shores, gradually wearing away hard rock, transporting sand and sediment, creating the dynamic boundary between land and sea that characterizes our uniquely tidal planet. In places like the Giant's Causeway in Ireland or the Bay of Fundy in North America, you can see the Moon's sculptural power most dramatically. The enormous tidal range of Fundy, up to 50 feet twice daily, has carved deep channels through solid rock, created vast intertidal zones, and shaped harbors that have sheltered human communities for thousands of years. The Moon's gravitational chisel has been at work here since long before humans existed, preparing safe havens for the ships and settlements that would eventually arrive. Tidal forces transport enormous quantities of sand and sediment along coastlines in what oceanographers call longshore drift. The Moon's influence creates currents that pick up particles eroded from one location and deposit them hundreds of miles away, building barrier islands, creating new beaches, filling in bays with fertile sediments that become the foundation for coastal wetlands and estuaries. The Thames Estuary, San Francisco Bay, the Chesapeake Bay. These vital waterways that have supported human civilization were all carved and maintained by tidal action over geological time. The Moon's gravitational influence carved these sheltered waters from the landscape, creating deep channels that allow ocean vessels to penetrate far inland, bringing trade, culture, and connection between coastal and interior regions. Tidal forces have also created some of Earth's most unique geological formations. Tidal pools, carved from solid rock by the daily rhythm of wave action at high tide, create miniature ecosystems that showcase life's adaptation to constantly changing conditions. These natural aquariums, sculpted by lunar influence, have provided humans with some of our first glimpses into marine ecology and ocean biodiversity. The moon's sculptural influence extends below the ocean surface to shape underwater geography as well. Tidal currents carve deep channels across continental shelves, create underwater sand dunes that migrate across the seafloor, and maintain deep water passages that allow marine life to move between different oceanic regions. The Hudson Canyon, extending from New York Harbor deep into the Atlantic, was carved partially by ancient tidal currents when sea levels were lower. Over geological timescales, tidal forces have helped create some of the sedimentary rock formations that compose much of Earth's crust. Ancient tidal flats, repeatedly covered and uncovered by prehistoric seas, created the layered deposits that hardened into the limestone, sandstone, and shale formations that now form mountain ranges, canyon walls, and the foundations of continents. The moon's influence on ice sheets and glaciers has also shaped our planet's geography. Tidal forces acting on floating ice shelves can trigger calving events that release massive icebergs into the ocean. These tidal influences on polar ice may have contributed to past ice ages and climate changes that reshaped continents and influenced the evolution of life. Even landlocked regions show the moon's ancient sculptural influence. Many of the Great Lakes were carved by glaciers whose movements were influenced by tidal forces acting on the massive ice sheets that once covered much of North America. The periodic advance and retreat of these glaciers, partially driven by tidal interactions with the ice, carved the deep basins that now hold some of the world's largest freshwater reserves. The moon has been particularly important in creating the estuaries and river deltas where many of the world's great cities now stand. The tidal mixing of fresh and salt water creates uniquely fertile environments where rivers meet the sea, depositing rich sediments that build the flat, productive lands perfect for agriculture and settlement. London, New York, Shanghai, Bangkok, all built on lands that the moon helped create through billions of years of tidal deposition. Archaeological evidence shows that human civilization has been intimately connected to the moon's geographical gifts. Ancient peoples built their settlements in harbors carved by tidal action, navigated by understanding tidal currents, and developed their first accurate calendars by observing the correlation between lunar phases and tidal rhythms. The moon continues its sculptural work today, gradually reshaping coastlines, depositing sediments, carving new channels, and responding to the changing sea levels caused by climate change. Rising seas alter tidal patterns, while changing weather systems modify how tidal forces interact with coastal geography. As you rest peacefully tonight, imagine yourself connected to this ongoing geological symphony, where the moon continues its patient work of sculpting Earth's surface through gravitational artistry, creating and maintaining the dynamic coastlines that provide habitat for countless species, harbors for human communities, and the constantly changing boundary between land and sea that has shaped the course of life and civilization on our planet. Sleep now, knowing that you live on a world that has been lovingly shaped by cosmic forces, where the moon's gentle but persistent influence has created the geographical conditions that made complex life possible, carving out the tidal zones where life first learned to live in multiple environments, preparing the stage for the evolutionary drama that eventually led to your existence. The eternal partnership, Moon, Earth, and the future of tides. Contemplate now the deep future of our cosmic partnership, where the gravitational dance between Earth and Moon will continue for billions of years to come, slowly evolving through phases that will reshape both worlds, while maintaining the tidal rhythm that has become so fundamental to life on our planet. The Moon you see tonight is gradually moving away from Earth at the rate of about 1.5 inches per year, roughly the same rate at which your fingernails grow. This cosmic recession is caused by the same tidal forces that create our ocean rhythms. As Earth's oceans rise and fall, they create friction that slowly transfers rotational energy from our planet to the Moon's orbit, causing our satellite to spiral gradually outward while Earth's rotation slows. In the far future, perhaps 50 billion years from now, long after the Sun has exhausted its fuel and evolved into a red giant, Earth and Moon will reach a state called tidal locking, where the same sides of both worlds will always face each other. Earth days will then last about 47 of our current days, and the Moon will hang motionless in the sky as seen from one hemisphere of Earth, invisible from the other. But this future tidal lock will not eliminate the Moon's influence on our planet. Instead, it will create a new kind of tidal world, where one hemisphere experiences constant lunar tide, while the other experiences only solar tides from our distant star. The geography and climate of such a world would be dramatically different from today's Earth, with permanent ocean currents flowing between the lunar and non-lunar hemispheres. Even before this distant future, the gradually increasing distance between Earth and Moon will slowly modify our current tidal patterns. Spring tides will become less extreme as the Moon's gravitational influence weakens with distance. The twice-daily rhythm will remain, but the range between high and low tides will gradually diminish over millions and billions of years. This slowly changing tidal environment will continue to influence evolution on Earth for as long as our planet maintains liquid oceans. Species that have adapted to current tidal ranges will face evolutionary pressure to adjust to gradually changing conditions. New ecological niches may emerge as tidal patterns shift, while some current intertidal environments may gradually disappear or transform. The Moon's gradual recession also affects Earth's axial stability. Currently, the Moon's gravitational influence helps keep Earth's rotational axis relatively stable, preventing the chaotic wobbling that would create wild climate variations. As the Moon moves farther away, its stabilizing influence will weaken, though this process is so slow that the effects will be negligible for billions of years. Our understanding of the Earth-Moon tidal system continues to deepen with advances in satellite technology and oceanographic research. Modern sensors can detect tidal influences that were invisible to previous generations of scientists, revealing subtle ways that lunar gravity affects everything from groundwater flow to atmospheric pressure variations. Climate change adds new complexity to our planet's tidal future. Rising sea levels alter tidal patterns in coastal areas, while changing ice coverage affects the distribution of mass on Earth's surface, subtly modifying how our planet responds to lunar gravitational influence. The relationship between global warming and tidal patterns represents an active area of research, with implications for coastal communities worldwide. Space exploration may eventually allow humans to experience tidal forces from other perspectives. Future lunar colonies would experience Earth's tidal influence on the Moon itself. Land tides that flex the lunar surface, underground water deposits that might shift with Earth's gravitational pull, and the spectacular sight of Earth hanging motionless in the lunar sky. The search for life on other worlds often considers tidal forces as a potentially crucial factor for habitability. Exoplanets with large moons might have Earth-like tidal systems that create the dynamic environmental conditions helpful for the evolution of complex life. Jupiter's moon Europa experiences such strong tidal heating from its giant planet that the flexing keeps subsurface oceans liquid, despite the moon's great distance from the sun. Our cosmic partnership with the moon also provides a unique laboratory for understanding gravitational physics and the behavior of coupled celestial bodies. The Earth-Moon system serves as a natural experiment in tidal dynamics that helps scientists understand similar processes throughout the universe, from binary star systems to the tidal disruption of galaxies by supermassive black holes. The cultural significance of lunar tides will likely persist throughout human civilization, no matter how our understanding of the underlying physics evolves. The rhythm of high and low tides provides a natural calendar that has influenced human culture since prehistoric times, creating seasonal patterns for fishing, travel, and ceremony that connect human communities to cosmic rhythms. As you prepare for sleep under the moon's gentle influence, rest in the knowledge that you are part of an ancient cosmic partnership that will continue for billions of years beyond your lifetime. The tidal rhythm that may have influenced your body's circadian patterns tonight connects you to a gravitational conversation between worlds that predates the evolution of life and will continue long after our current forms of life have evolved into something unimaginably different. Your peaceful rest occurs within this eternal cosmic dialogue, where Earth and Moon continue their patient gravitational dance, creating the tidal heartbeat that has provided stability and rhythm for life throughout Earth's history. Sleep now as a conscious participant in this ancient partnership, knowing that the moon above maintains its faithful watch, its gentle gravitational embrace, continuing the tidal rhythm that connects your world to the cosmos, your body to the oceans, your dreams to the eternal dance of celestial bodies through space and time. Sleep peacefully in the moon's gravitational embrace, part of the cosmic partnership that has shaped your world and will continue shaping worlds yet to come, forever connected to the gentle tidal pulse that links all Earth's waters, including the water within you, to our faithful lunar companion in its eternal circuit around our shared home in space.